How y'all doing? Welcome. It's week number 2, and this is the Washington Football News Weekly. I am your host, Mr. Fred, and we have an exciting game tomorrow against the Arizona Cardinals. Week 1 is come and gone. The Redskins are leading the NFC East. They're 1-0. Dallas, the Giants, and the Philadelphia She-Girls are all 0-1 after the first week. Arizona Cardinals, they went in last week and surprised Super Bowl runner-up San Francisco 49ers, beat them in their own place, 24-20. So today I'm going to do a preview of tomorrow's game, which is a late game, 4 o'clock game. And I can honestly say last week that the Redskins put it together in the second half, and they played championship caliber defense. Now this week presents a different challenge, the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to go. And let's take a look at the Arizona offense and the Arizona defense. And we'll do that right now. So the Washington football team will have to deal with 2 elite talents on the Cardinals offense. Second-year quarterback Kyler Murray, who won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year, and the newly signed wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, Nook, or a.k.a. D-Hop. They have not had much time together, but last week against the 49ers, they came out like gangbusters. I mean, they absolutely dominated the game. And D-Hop caught 14 out of 16 targets last week. Kyler Murray, that game was pretty much won by Kyler Murray using his legs. He has a strong arm. He's not quite an elite passer yet. He's efficient, but what makes him dangerous is that he runs the ball, and if you chase him out of the pocket, he will take off. And he ran 13 times last week for 91 yards against the 49ers. So last week, we had a stable quarterback, a pocket quarterback, but this week we have a mobile quarterback. Murray is dangerous and explosive. He has a good arm strength, like I said, but he's a runner, which helps him extend plays. And the style of offense that Cliff Kingsbury has his team playing is the same kind of style that suited Kyler Murray in college. So he's comfortable in it. It's his second year. And folks, we have a game tomorrow. We really have a game tomorrow. Like I said, 13 rushes for 91 yards were his stats against a good San Francisco 49er defense. And he burned them, and they could not stop him. The 49ers, as we know, have a great defensive front, but last week they could not stop Murray or Nook. Murray is still developing as a passer, despite his arm talent. His yards per attempt against the 49ers was only 5.75, but his ability to extend plays and gain extra yards with his legs, and that's what makes him a scary quarterback. The Cardinals' running game featuring Kenyon Drake was very effective. Drake is not an elite back, but he's an effective running back. Chase Edwards is an exciting runner that joins him in the backfield. He had a 42-yard kickoff return last week, and their coach Cliff Kingsbury will most likely employ a 2-back set in their offense tomorrow against the Washington football team. So look for that. Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins and Murray, they hooked up, like I said, for 14 out of 16 throws, and they looked unstoppable. And that's the mission for the Washington football team defense, is to stop Kyler Murray from getting the ball to Nook. I'm not sure if Washington has a corner that can cover him one-on-one. So Coach Jack Del Rio, defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio, will have to find a way to double up on D Hop. And the surest way to keep the ball out of his hands is to disrupt Murray and not give him time to throw the ball. And if they don't do that, that's going to make for a long day tomorrow for the Washington defense. I'm sure Arizona's probably on the other side scratching their heads because they're going to have a heck of a time trying to figure out how to overcome that defensive front that they're facing. Last week, Arizona ran 3 wideouts, 1 tight end, and 1 back most of the time. The other wideouts, of course, longtime franchise player Larry Fitzgerald, who is not as fast as he used to be, but he's still effective. And anybody would take him on their team because I know we would. We definitely need a wide receiver like a Larry Fitzgerald for sure. And plus, the talented Christian Kirk, Arizona fan favorite, tight end Dan Arnold is a big-time red zone target. For Murray, he splits time with the receiver, blocker Max Williams. They're not Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert from the Eagles, but the Washington football team can't afford to fall asleep on these guys because these guys can stretch the field. So look for them to kind of do that tomorrow against the Washington defense, is to use their tight ends, use one of their tight ends, Dan Arnold. Look for him tomorrow to try to run in the middle of the field and try to spread the defense a little bit. They can spread the field if need be. The Arizona offensive line is kind of like a weak spot for them. But other than that, left guard Justin Pugh is efficient. They're not a top-notch offensive line. But let's see, who do they have? DJ Humphries, J.R. Sweezy, Kelvin Beachum. They're not bad players, but they're not going to overpower anyone. So the Washington football team pass rush should be effective again. And hopefully they don't allow Murray to escape too often or at all. So we're going to see. The Arizona defense, which probably wasn't highlighted a lot, but they had to play some defense in order to beat the 49ers, which they did. They play a 3-4 base defense, and they boast some elite talents. Edge rusher Chandler Jones is a sack master for sure. Cornerback Patrick Peterson and safety Budda Baker. All of these guys are among the best in the league at their positions. So their defense is not a slouch at all. They gave up 20 points last week to the 49ers, but their defense was still effective in that game. The front three revolve around steady nose tackle Corey Peters. They brought in defensive end Jordan Phillips from Buffalo, and he's rotating with the 2019 draftee Zach Allen. Angelo Blackson, who was recently signed, in 2020 draftee Rashard Lawrence. So Allen and Blackson both had sacks against the 49ers, as well as Chandler Jones last Sunday. And like I said, he is one of the most fearsome outside edge rushers in the game today. So be looking for him tomorrow when Dwayne Haskins lines up his offense against the Arizona defense. They've got to block Chandler Jones tomorrow and keep him at bay from putting pressure on Dwayne Haskins. So the Washington football team tackles need to be on the ready for him. The linebacking core of Arizona is taking shape, but it's improved from last year. Isaiah Simmons, 2020 draftee from Clemson, he only played on 18 snaps. He took a bad angle on San Francisco running back Raheem Mostert last week, and he got burnt for a long touchdown. So he didn't play that many snaps, and he got torched on that play for a long touchdown. But be looking for this guy. He was effective in college, and he's a good player. So we'll see tomorrow how he does. Linebackers Devondre Campbell and Jordan Hicks control the middle of the field for Arizona defense. Their quality players, Devon Kennard, Hassan Riddick, round out their improved linebacking core. So they have a pretty solid linebacking core. So we didn't run the ball well, very good last week against the Eagles. Antonio Gibson had a 20-yard run. He popped off a 20-yard run, but other than that, he didn't do very much else. J.D. McKissick really didn't get anywhere running the ball. Peyton Barber had a couple of touchdowns, but he didn't have any clear breakaway runs. So that left side of our offensive line is kind of weak. So we're going to have to get stronger in that area, and they're going to have to block that Arizona front tomorrow and open up some holes in order for the running game to not only be effective, but also to open the field up for Dwayne Haskins throwing the ball. Uh, their secondary is decent with Buda Baker, 2019 draft pick, Byron Murphy, Patrick Peterson, and if healthy, Jalen Thompson rounds out the secondary for the Arizona Cardinals. So tomorrow, the Washington football team has a tough task, and we're gonna have to start early. I think my keys to the game tomorrow is that they're gonna have to jump off to an early lead. They're gonna have to take control of the game early, take reins of control of the game, and another thing is that defensive front is going to have to constantly pressure Kyler Murray and keep him in the pocket because he's very dangerous with his legs, and they're going to have to find a way to double team D-Hop tomorrow. Very good receiver, very hard to cover, and they're going to have to disrupt Murray from getting the ball to him. And also, we're going to have to stuff the Arizona running game. So, keys to the game, like I said, our defensive front, our offensive line, and being able to establish a running game because a good running game always opens up the passing game down the field. And Dwayne Haskins got off to a slow start last week, and he played better in the second half, and he finished with an efficient game. He didn't have any turnovers. He had some missed throws and things that he has to work on. But tomorrow, I say that the Washington football team is going to have to offensively get off to a quicker start. And like I said, the defense just needs to keep doing what it's doing. And as long as the defense keeps doing what it's doing, then we're going to be in a lot of ball games this year. So hopefully tomorrow the offense will play better. Even though we scored 27 points last week, the defense set up 2 touchdowns last week. So we're going to have to move the ball efficiently and effectively. And hopefully tomorrow the offense can kind of get caught back up with the defense because the defense is ahead right now and the offense is kind of back. And I know that they didn't play in the preseason, but they're professionals, so they should know their job. They know their assignments now. They know what they have to do, and hopefully our offensive line can move the Arizona D front off the blocks tomorrow, back them up, and dominate. And hopefully tomorrow we can get the Kyler Murray and stress him out and keep him in the pocket and make for a miserable day for him. Will not be an easy task for our team, but I believe they can do it. Um, let's see. Hopefully tomorrow Dwayne Haskins can get the ball more to Terry McLaurin, find him open. Logan Thomas, he had a few catches last week and a touchdown. Hopefully they can utilize him more, down in the middle to spread the field. Hopefully tomorrow we can get that ground game going with J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson. And also utilize Antonio Gibson in the passing game. He was a running back / wide receiver in college at Memphis. They said he was like a Swiss Army knife. He calls himself a weapon. Well, tomorrow we need to pull that weapon out and use it effectively. Let's see. Offensive line didn't play a bad game last week. They gave up 3 sacks. They didn't have a penalty. The defensive front had a couple of offsides calls. So penalty-wise, we're far better off than we were last year. We're more of a disciplined team. So that's the good news. Our coaching is better. Our coaches that we have now are a better coaching group than we had last year and the years before. So I'm just looking forward to tomorrow's game, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season and what we do. So it's going to be fun. Um, that's pretty much all I have. And hopefully tomorrow the defense can keep doing what it's doing. Play championship caliber defense. Get some turnovers. Set up our offense so we can score. And it'll be great. So my final prediction, my score, I set a prediction earlier this week. I said 24-10. I'm going to go on record and I'm going to say 24-7 will be the final. I believe Washington will go in there and do the doggone thing and win another game. And raise the eyebrows of all these doggone analysts out there that continue to pick against the Redskins and that continue not to show them respect and to make them look like they just won on accident last week, or they try to make them look like they're a non-existent football team that doesn't matter and that can't play. Not true. So the only analysts that I really have respect for right now are the ones that are on Good Morning Football. What is it? Kay Adams, Nate Burleson, Peter Schlesinger, and what's the other guy's name? Kyle Brandt. I like those guys. They know what they're talking about, and they gave kudos to the Redskins. And I just like what they have to say. But all these other analysts right now, I'm not feeling them, and I'm not even trying to hear what they're trying to say because they don't have any respect for this team. And by the end of the season, this team is going to catch some eyes. So you analysts out there, stop sleeping on them. Well, that's all that I have. Like I said, Washington football team tomorrow will win 24-7. Look forward to it. You guys enjoy the game. And I'll see you Monday next time on the Washington Football News Weekly. Peace out. Catch you on the flip side.